Welcome to part 4 of my introduction to slope. And today we're going to be specifically looking at the slope-intercept form when given the graph. So if you recall from our previous unit, we had an equation and we used the slope and the y-intercept to make the graph. Now we're going to look at the graph, find the slope and the y-intercept, and write the slope-intercept form. So we have to recall the slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So our first step is to find the slope. And remember, how many points do we need to find the slope? That's correct, just 2. So the next step is to identify the y-intercept. And the third step is write the equation in slope-intercept form. And this is an S. I know it looks kind of sloppy. So let's look at example 1. Write the slope-intercept form of the line below. So the first step is to find the slope. But before we do that, I do not have the coordinates connected here, so let's draw a line segment and put arrows on the ends of your line segment to show that it's a line and goes on and on forever. So to find the slope, we need 2 points. So I'm just going to pick the farthest 2 points so that you can see that when you pick 2 points that are not right next to each other, oftentimes you have to simplify it. So 1, 2, 3. My rise is positive 3. My run is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to write m for slope. So my rise is positive 3. My run is negative 6. 3 over 6 simplifies to 1/2 because I divide top and bottom by 3. And remember, when we have one of them negative, we stick it in front. So this represents a negative 1/2 slope. Now, my y-intercept is 1. So remember the slope-intercept form. I write b equals 1. And now I put the 2 together to write my slope-intercept form. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. And I'm going to box it in so that this answer stands out. Okay, moving right along to example number 2. Once again, we're going to write the slope-intercept form. And because I did not draw the arrows here, let's go ahead and draw the arrows in. Oops, and somehow I changed color. Okay, now we don't have coordinates here, so we have to make our own. So I'm going to pick 2 points. I can pick any 2 points that cross at a corner. So I see one here, and I see one here. So I'm going to use those 2 coordinates to write the slope. So m equals, and I'm going to go up positive 2 over negative 1. So my rise is positive 2. My run is negative 1, so 2 divided by negative 1 is negative 2. So my slope is negative 2. My b is where it crosses the y-axis, so my b is positive 2. So put the 2 together. My equation is y equals negative 2x plus 2. Okay. Oops. I just realized my arrow wasn't very good down there. Okay, let's move on to example number 3. Oops. So once again, we're writing the slope-intercept form, so go ahead and put arrows on both ends. And the first thing we need to do is find the slope, so I'm going to write m equals, and I'm going to find 2 points that meet the corner. So here's one, and here's another. So I'm going to use those 2 points. Now this time I'm going to start up here at this one. So I'm going to go down 3. So negative 3 is my rise. And my run is negative 1. So I'm going to write negative 3 divided by negative 1. And we know that 2 negatives makes a positive. So my slope is 3. My y-intercept is negative 1 because it crosses the y-axis at negative 1. So now I'm going to put the 2 together and write my equation. Y equals 3x And I'm not going to write 3x plus -1. I'm going to write 3x minus 1. Okay, because -1 and -1 mean the same thing. Okay, one last example, and then that concludes our notes. So let's look at number 4. Write the slope-intercept form of the line below. So I'm going to connect my line, or make arrows on my line segment. I'm going to write m equals for my slope, and I'm going to find 2 points. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use this one. And now I'm going to go up +2 over +3, so my slope is 2/3. I don't have to simplify that because they're not both negative, and 2 over 3 cannot be simplified. So my slope is 2/3. My b is +3 because I crossed the y-axis at 3. So I'm going to put the two together and write my final slope-intercept form. So 2/3 x plus 3. Okay, this concludes our Part 4 Introduction to Slope. I hope you have a great day.